Hello, you guys. This is gonna be a video about the audi quattro, how this car revolution racing entirely. Racing entirely. I'm also gonna be doing video racing show you a clip of a race I did to display. Now, this car right here is very iconic, and it definitely did revolution racing. Now, back in the 1980s, now that's when the car got released. In 1980, the car got released, and it was mostly used for a regular day chores that normally would drive back in the day. And this was also the first car to change the rally racing. And the Audi Quattro, if you know anything about rally racing, you know the Audi Quattro was the first four-wheel drive car to go off-road to race, and which was dominating the rear-wheel drive cars that was there before, the single seat too. And after a year or so, they replaced all this. They replaced all of them, and with four-wheel drive cars, because they realized the four-wheel drive cars have the edge when it comes to going around corners. It was smashing records left and right. Now, going from 1980 81 to 1985, because that's where the car was famous. It was famous for rally race. It was dominated for over 4 years. Now, in 1985, they decided to take this car and drive it on Tydela race course. Um, and surprising, with the inferior downforce, the go around track, it actually broke a couple of records, going 200 miles per hour, making the first four-wheel truck to ever go 200 miles per hour, which is surprising. And in that same year, in 1985, in that same year, they entered their first introduction race. Now, a lot of the competitors make fun of the German drivers, saying that that looks like a everyday Volkswagen, and then there's no way they will keep up with the superior V8 engine cars, which this is the 5.4 liter car. What happened was in qualify, it got second place, and the competition wasn't worried, because they were just saying it was luck. When it got to the race, it actually got second place, and then of course the competitors like, well, the competitors like it was beginner's luck. Now, after the first race, and going on like two or three other races, the four-wheel drive was getting a tactical advantage over the rear-wheel drive cars. And now it is true that this car right here could not contest the rear-wheel drive cars in terms of speed, because this was only a five-cylinder, and its competition was a V8. But because it's a four-wheel drive, it gets less spin around corners, making it more ideal to stay on the track. And end result of getting three out of five first place. It got so bad, a bunch of American drivers got offended, saying that the German engineers were sandbagging, pretending pretending they could go as fast as they could and practice, and in an actual race, crank it all the way up, and bypassing the competition. And they also said it was unfair that in the rain they have a tactical advantage, which I will argue and say that's kind of true, that the four-wheel drive definitely will have a tactical advantage in the rain than a rear-wheel drive car, because unlike the rear-wheel drive, all the tires are working together to stay in control, and it's easier to stay on the track. After a while, they decided to regulate this car, and the first one is to reduce the tire pressure, increase the weight, and reduce the power. They did not only do this once, but they did this twice to give the advantage for the other cars in the competition. which ended up happening was they still won. They was doing it. They did it from 1985 to 1988. 1988 is when they had a regulations where this car could not compete against those cars, and so they went up a class, going to make a new race called the GTO racing, which if you go and if you look under it, it's called GTO car. Now, what's funny about this is that in the GTO racing. Well, before I get to that part, what's really funny about that American drivers complained about this, but back in the day in 1961 to 65, America was down. The Ford was dominating Ferrari for 4 years in a row, to the point where Ferrari decided to make regulations to make sure any Fords could not qualify, and that's how Formula One became a thing. That's how Formula One became a thing, because of regulations they changed, and America just gave up, and they did all American race, and they just did regular racing. Now, the GTO racing now, they decided to remove all the strict the strictly thing they had on this car to because it was much faster cars. I mean, much faster. Now it's true. They end up adding they end up adding more horsepower to this car, so it'll be more competition, be in line with this competition. And they believe, because it was going against much faster cars, that they was going to just get completely destroyed. Now, in one race, it is true. It is definitely true that both of the Audi Quattro, Quattro did end up getting a few explosion, because it was generally too much horsepower what the car was originally meant to do. But after that, a couple of races later, a couple of races in that season, they won 4 out of 5. They won 4 out of 5 races, which ended up happening. They did this from 1986 to 1991. In 1991, they completely banned this car and stated that it was unfair, being that it was going against rear-wheel drive cars, and the four-wheel drive, it gave it too much of an attack advantage. Too much attack advantage, and they completely banned this car. I mean, they should see this coming. Like, you guys went on for so many years trying to get this car regulated, saying it was unfair in one season, and another season, in other seasonals, and you guys decided to change the rules so it would not have advantage anymore, and just for it to have advantage anyway. Which I understand that because it's a four-wheel drive car, it has the attack advantage over around corners, because it's definitely fast. It definitely corner faster. And even when I'm using the car in this game, I have raced in every car in the GTO in the GTO class, and I'm gonna tell you this right now. This car by far handles it better than every one of those cars in the class. And as of that, that's going to be a wrap. And now I'm going to start the race and show you. Yes, that is me driving the Audi Quattro. I mean, it's very stable, and you could brake very late with this car. Mm-mm. Very smooth car. This is iconic and one of my favorite cars now. I can't believe one car did that much damage, causing so many racing industries to get very upset with one company in one country, fucking Audi and fucking in goddamn Germany. And you could tell it's old. 'Cause look at the inside. And that's the end of the race. That was me driving the. Audi Quattro. Such a good car. And I hope you like my story about the history of this car and why it's so important. Until next time, Omar out.